Coming up on Wrestling Life.
I don't need the limelight. I don't need to be on stage. I'd like to help enhance and teach the young talent because they're the future of wrestling. And it is a roller coaster. Things change. The storylines change. Like when I do appearances, a lot of people come up to me like, I miss the old school wrestling. Yeah, I do too, but things change. You got to go with the times.
Welcome to Wrestling Life with Ben Veal, the show that features real talk from real talent.
Well, it's another Wrestling Life here. It's Ben Veal once again. I'm so excited about today because when I put together this podcast and had the idea for doing Wrestling Life, I had a wish list of people I wanted to speak with, and my guest today was right at the top of that wish list. Two-time WWE Women's Champion, five-time TNA Knockouts Champion. My guest today has influenced a generation of women's wrestling talent. She is, without a doubt, a bona fide Hall of Famer, the co-host of GAW TV, and widely regarded as one of the nicest people in the business. All the way from sunny California, joining me today, Lisa Marie Varon. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much, Ben. Thank you for having me on your show. And I'm excited. We have mutual friends, Chris Van Vliet. And I'm very excited for this. You have no idea how many DMs and emails I do, and I'm kind of particular about what shows I participate in, you know? So thank you so much.
I appreciate it. And I've learned a lot from Chris. What I will say, though, I listened back to your interview that you did with Chris a few years ago. This was one of the kind of COVID lockdown interviews, and you're actually in person speaking. And I have a bone to pick with both of you because you were both talking about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and you both slammed Donatello. And I'm not having that because I'm a Donatello dude all the way. What do you have to say for yourself?
I'm not slamming any of them. I'm a huge, this is why I do a lot of Comic-Cons.
Yes.
Comic-Cons it's my guilty pleasure. I'm a nerd through and through, and I'm very proud to be a nerd.
Me too.
And it's a guilty pleasure. I do these appearances. I try not to walk around because I don't want to spend my money because, you know, the flights and the freaking rooms and then selling all that stuff. You know what I mean? I'm there to make money and pay bills. You know what I mean? But it's a guilty pleasure. Honestly, Transformers, Ninja Turtles. I love anime. People don't know this about me. I'm not like that freaking badass chick that you see on TV. I'm actually very opposite than my character. I think when people categorize us as crazy, I think we're just outspoken and just talk to everybody and have no filter and easily approachable, that kind of stuff. I think they misconstrued like that. They just, I don't have that. I might be a little crazy, but you know, you have to be in this wrestling, you know?
But I mean, it must be really cool that you spend a lot of time now going to Comic Cons, and then it's actually something that you would genuinely do in your own time anyway.
Well,
ish,
because if I go there just as a fan and go in there, I'd be broke, honestly. Yeah, I will send people this is it's a double-edged sword. I become very close friends with my fans. Like, for example, I'm doing the Squared Circle Expo in March, and I'm staying at a fan's house. We became really close friends. Big part of the gay community and stuff like that. He was like, "You got to do the Squared Circle Expo," and I was like, "I don't want to spend the money for the hotel." They were out of tables, so I knew a friend that got me a table in there, and he goes, "You just have to fly yourself out." Normally, this doesn't happen. Fly myself out and put myself up, you know. But it's such a big event. It's like WrestleCon, the WrestleMania weekend, you know. So I did it. I was like, I had miles on Delta, used them all, and stayed at a friend's house. And but I love Comic Cons, dude. The people, like, this is where the fans become the superstars. They're dressed up in their favorite cosplay. But I send my fans out to go, hey, if you find a Attack on Titan baseball cap or a backpack of the things I'm into, take a picture of it and bring it back. And then if I like it, I'll send them to go buy it because I don't want to look at their booth. It's, I don't know how people can afford to go to these conventions.
No.
They save us a whole year on that.
This is like me at wrestling conventions. I go to them very sparingly. I'll see you at WrestleCon, but I will be literally making a beeline to see certain people and have conversations. I will avoid all booths, all replica belts, and all dangerous things that I do not have the money to spend.
I know.
Yeah.
Seriously. I don't know how people can afford this. And if they're going to WrestleMania, that ticket too, it's just, well, I'm the same as the fans. I have to pay bills too. And I think people think that we're rolling in the dough, making money. Like, when you're retired or out of the business, my job is to do conventions and to do Zoom chats, Cameo shout outs, my live auction, my Twitch I just started. You know what I mean? So it's you, like you said before, I'm constantly busy. It's my job to be busy. You know what I mean? It's don't get me wrong. I'm exhausted. I am exhausted. And after conventions, when I come home, because it's not just like a 10-minute match, you're on for 8 hours. And I'm not one that sits down a lot until my feet hurt. And I don't like to stand behind my table because I feel like it makes me feel like I'm better than the fans. And I like to be approachable. I like to chit chat. And a lot of people say, hey, Lisa, you have a line, stop talking. And I'm like, oh, hey guys, don't line up, semicircle, because you're probably going to ask me the same question as the other fan did before you, but it's WrestleCon is freaking, it's amazing. God, thank you, High Spots, for squeezing me in. I'll be in the foyer, the lobby.
Oh, it's not going to be a squeeze, Lisa. Come on.
They did. They squeezed me in. Honestly, there a lot of people were texting me. How did you get in there? They sold out of the tables. I go, it pays to be nice, dude. It pays to be nice and being humble. And High Spots have been nothing but great to me. Like always helpful and always sharing my stories and stuff like that. And I'm excited. I'm excited. It's a reunion too. It's a reunion for us too.
Who are you looking forward to seeing when you're out there?
I can't wait. It's a blast. Is it your first WrestleCon?
This is my first WrestleMania. Yeah. So 35 years as a fan and first time I go out to WrestleMania, and it's quite surreal.
It's an experience. And even if you can't afford to go to WrestleMania, for you guys that are watching, WrestleCon is a blast. It's a convention Thursday through Sunday. I will not be there Sunday. I'm flying back to PAC to go to StarCast in Australia. I did a doozy on myself, Ben. I'm doing the Square Circle Expo, come back for 2 days, fly out for WrestleCon, fly back Sunday, PAC for Australia, fly out Monday. I'm going to be a mess. I'm not, you guys, I'm going to have bags under my eyes. And I just turned 53. I'm not a young whippersnapper anymore. I can't snap back, and dating someone he wasn't a wrestling fan. He had a lot to learn, through me, but he used to ask me after conventions, are you mad? Are you mad at me? And I'm like, dude, I've been talking 8 hours every single day on my feet. I just need to re-energize and rest and just, get revamped for the next freaking convention. Cause I hate showing up and not being there for the fans. I want to be peppy. And I want them to have a good experience meeting me.
We spoke off air when we were exchanging messages about this. I think what that harks onto really is the fact that you've been diagnosed with ADHD, haven't you? And I have myself. Yes. And I think when you are neurodiverse, and my son's neurodiverse, and I've gained a lot of understanding of it over the last 2 years. And the one thing I learned about myself is I have to have those downtimes. So if I go to network or I go to an event, I have to then go to a dark room and just quietly decompress. And I think that's what you're talking about here.
And that's part of ADHD. We absorb so much energy from other people. you know how it drains you. I get very drained, and when I get little too much is going on, like too much outside activity, you'll see me go take a little bit of a break, a 5-minute break, just to go outside, get some fresh air. But I never take a break to eat, which is a bad shame on me, because then I get the headache at the night, and then but I don't want to miss out. Like everyone is like, you need to go take a break. You need to go take a break. And I go, I don't want to miss that one person that came to see me, and they're like, oh, she's gone, and they're like, well, you have that be back in 5 minutes sign. I go, okay, yeah, you're right. I need to do that. But I got diagnosed way late in my life, 8 or 9 years ago. I remember when I decided to be done with wrestling, Davari, we shared the same therapist. So I just got divorced, and then moving out to California from Chicago, I thought I was going to go through this really horrible transition of going, oh my God, what am I going to do? And after a couple sessions, he goes, have you ever been diagnosed with ADHD? And I go, you're probably the millionth person that has asked me. And I don't like medication. I'm very much of a naturalist. And of course I do coffee. And I don't eat organic all the time, but I don't like to be on medication because, being in the business and seeing people have addictions and stuff like that scared me. And I'm in California where pot is legal, marijuana, the ganja, and I don't like it. I'm not a fan. It gets me neurotic and paranoid, doesn't calm me. And they're like, oh, you didn't try the right strand. And I was like, okay, what do you suggest? I just don't like it. I'm not into it. But the ADHD was like, I took the test, totally off the charts, ADHD. And he goes, I cannot believe you have not been diagnosed earlier in life. And, I'm 53. How old are you, Ben? Do you mind me asking?
I turned 40 this year. Okay,
you're still young. My generation back then, I think we were called like little spazzy kids. Like, I hate that term too. I didn't know that was not politically correct. Just bouncing off the walls, like, oh, just couldn't sit still and stuff like that. And but it didn't sacrifice my grades in school. I'm very competitive. I have 3 older brothers, and those are my role models, and being competitive in everything I did on grades too and stuff like that. But I wish I got diagnosed earlier, because man, I would probably I was pre-med in school. I'd probably be practicing medicine right now. You know what I mean?
Well, that was your pathway, wasn't it? I was when I was researching, obviously, to speak with you today. You had a long time in kind of medical profession, didn't you? You were training, and then you worked in an organ donation bank.
Yes, is that right? I procured. I used to remove corneas, heart, saphenous vein, middle ear. Did I say bone? A lot for transplantation. I was on call to be the person that removed, like with the team, or the corneas, one person's on call. And then 3 days I was in the office going over medical charts. Like, when people pass away, they have to report it to the coroner and the organ and tissue bank. Even though your driver's license says, I want to be an organ donor, you can't, that doesn't give me okay to go procure the organs. You need to reach out to the family. They have the consent. The next of kin has the consent. So I would have to call the family, there's a room, all walls, and the phone. That's it. And then your sheet to go over. Did they experience HIV? Like, you have to go through the medical background. What was their white blood count? That kind of stuff with the nurses. And it was so rewarding that stopped me from going to medical school. I was getting paid to do this, and families were sending cards to saying, I'm so glad that my son helped someone see again, that kind of stuff. But it was, the hard part of it was, if the family wasn't notified, and I call and say, I'm so sorry, the passing of Daniel or whatever, But I just want to have your family discuss about organ donation. And if you would like to consider that. And some of the families were not notified. I was the one notifying that. They're like, what happened? They were in a car accident. I go, oh my God.
Oh my word.
You know what? I go, you have to call this person, give the phone number to the coroner or whatever, that kind of stuff. That was the horrible part. And then calling them back and said, did you have a chance to discuss with your family? Because you only have, like, for the corneas, up to 12 hours to retain the corneas, and then 24 hours for the rest, before it starts deteriorating. Not to be so graphic or anything like that. But, yeah, it was, oh God, it was such a great life experience and appreciation that's what got me into working out.
Yeah.
Bodybuilding and fitness.
I was going to say, if you can make that call to someone, you can do anything, can't you? That puts perspective into walking down the ramp at WrestleMania. If you've got the guts to have that conversation, that's as hard as it's going to be, isn't it?
It's still when you get in the room to go do the call or that kind of stuff. I felt like in the gorilla going out for the curtain. You're just going, oh my God, I hope they don't yell at me and going, how dare you call me? I just lost my dad or something like that. Cause you get yelled at and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I just want you to discuss it with the family. No pressure right now. Is it okay? I call you in a few hours. Is that okay? Yeah. You know what I mean? And just like the same feeling going out through the curtain, I hope these fans are freaking entertained, not bored, and react to me being a bad guy and getting the baby face over. No one's seriously getting hurt. There's a lot of pressure. You have one chance. We're not actors that get, do that scene again. You got one shot out there. You got one shot to entertain the fans, and you're praying to God. I hope they're in. I hope they're with it. I hope they pop. We're damaging her body out there. Yeah. And I hope they appreciate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, we're going to get to wrestling, but I don't want to skim over the organ donation stuff too soon.
That's okay.
There'll be people that are watching and listening to this that I think need to hear this. I mean, over here in the UK, I don't know if quite the same rules apply. You have an organ donation bank that you sign up to with the NHS, and I think that I believe that means that you have opted in and they don't have to do the next of kin call if you've done that. But I mean, I've been donating blood. My dad got me into donating blood when I was 17, and that's been one of the proudest things I've ever done in my life. In fact, the proudest thing. I mean, the only thing I'm sad about, I've had so many tattoos that it's massively cut down my ability to do it. But I lost my dad last year, and
I know, I'm so sorry.
One of his. I know one of the things he really wanted to do. He wanted to achieve 100 blood donations before, but he reached about 75, and then he had he had some issues that stopped him from donating anymore. And so, if I can, before I leave this earth, I want to try and get to 100. I've pretty much run out of space now to get inked anyway, so I'm running out of options. So and I love that, because I get a text message from with Giving Blood now. I get a text message saying your blood has been donated to
Wow, I don't. Does that happen in the States?
I don't know, but it's amazing. I don't know the
awesome.
Detail, yeah,
I think more people will donate with that text message going, oh my God, it helped somebody. I need to do it again. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm so sorry for your loss. I lost my mom, 6 years ago now. And tomorrow's, I know this is not going to air till March, but we're going to the gravesite. It's her anniversary of her passing. So,
I'm sorry, Lisa.
It doesn't, Tommy Dreamer, I remember talking to him, not to name drop. Let me pick it up. But I called him, I'm supposed to be cheering him up. And I go, I just want to let you know, it doesn't get easier. Every year is hard and hard and hard and hard. And he goes, aren't you supposed to be calling me up and making me feel better? I go, yes, I'm so sorry. And he was like, oh, classic Lisa. And I was like, it's just hard. It's just like losing a family member. and it's just not easy. It's not easy. And you constantly, I've been going through this. I even talked to you on when we were messaging each other. Mm-hmm. I've been like listening to songs of my mom and watching videos and stuff like that. And I don't go to bed till 5 a.m. because I need to shut that off because my mind doesn't stop. ADHD. Mm-hmm. And and I wake up with puffy eyes, but I don't know. I think it's therapy for me to go, it's therapy to kind of cleanse the soul of crying and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm not great at crying, but, I've done my fair share over this, and it's been interesting with name. I'll do a bit of name dropping because it's been interesting. The conversations have opened up through this. I mean, I've had some lovely conversations with Lillian Garcia over the loss of our parents, and she's got such a fantastic perspective.
She's lovely.
Oh, she's
she was actually like my therapist back in WWE. We would go up in the bleachers because we had to get there so early, just in case we had to do pre-tapes and stuff. We'd go in the bleachers, and I was having bad marriage. You know what I mean? We were good friends, good business partners, just not good married couple. You know what I mean? But and I didn't believe in divorce. My parents, were married until my mom passed. You know what I mean? So I was one of those people that did not believe in divorce. But I got married too young, where I was still growing up, not knowing myself, and I was still a kid. Even though when I was in my 20s, I still felt like a kid. I still feel like a kid. Oh, so but Lillian Garcia is just freaking amazing person. An angel.
Yeah, she is. And she's been working her way through her emotions. It was great chatting to her. I tell you that the weirdest experience and lovely in many regards was, so obviously this is where it dovetails with your career. So Stevie Richards, I'd interviewed him. It ended up being the day before my dad was rushed to hospital. So I was in this studio ironically interviewing him about his spine infection and speaking to him about his faith journey and sharing some wrestling memories. And the next day I'm by my dad's bedside, and 3 days later my dad passes, and Stevie, he didn't know me before that conversation, but he kept checking in throughout that time. And I've said thank you to him countless times, but I want to say thank you once more, because it's all very well. Obviously I grew up watching people like you and Stevie and all these people on my screen, and you're these larger than life characters to entertain and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, what this podcast is all about is this is about the real people behind those personas and the bright lights, because he didn't need Steve. He'd done a podcast interview with me. That was done. But the fact that he kept checking in, he was praying for me. He gathered people together to pray for my dad, and that has that's meant the world to me. And
he's amazing. Oh my God, he was such a backbone to what Victoria became. I was one of those wrestlers that I would throw up before matches. My stomach, I got nervous belly. Oh my God, I was just like shaking, just a lot of pressure on you. You know what I mean? Am I thin enough? Am I pretty enough? Is my moves okay? Am my facial expression showing? There's just a lot of pressure. And he would go, we all call each other by our character names in the business, and so he was like, Victoria, what do you do? Like, what? And I go, I'm just nervous. He goes, you got this. You got this. He goes, you're great. You're great out there. And I go, thank you. Thank you. You kind of self-doubt a little bit, and, do I still got it? I don't want to slow down. You know what I mean? And, we had such an organic relationship. A lot of people thought we were really dating in real life. No, we were on screen only. And, he made Victoria, man. We were so organic. And he goes, I remember like going on the screen, and, I was just supposed to go like smell him or something like that. And I ended up licking his face and biting his ear. And when we went backstage, he goes, oh my God. He goes, I didn't expect that. I go, I'm sorry. Was that over the line? He goes, no, that was great. But whatever worked, it worked. And he was like, apologize later. If you feel something, do it. And I said, vice versa. Yeah. And I go, he used to call me Flower when we were partners in the ring and stuff like that. We had so much fun together. I'll tell you, man, him and I, we have never done an appearance together ever.
Really?
Isn't that bizarre?
Yeah, it is, because you were so intertwined in that period of WWE. I'm surprised.
I know. Let me show you something. Hold on, Ben. Hold on, let me show you something. I'm coming back.
It's Ben Veal here, host of Wrestling Life. This show is all about real talk from the talented individuals who shaped wrestling's past, present and future. And when it comes to honouring wrestling's past, I have to give a quick shout out to the great team and our friends at bigbluecage.com. Big Blue Cage Wrestling Store is your one-stop online shop for some truly awesome wrestling gear. Big Blue Cage's replica championship belts include the very best designs from the Golden Era, New Generation and the Attitude Era, including the much beloved Winged Eagle belt, the iconic Intercontinental Championship, which in my humble opinion is the greatest belt design of all time, the Attitude Era Big Eagle, and even the Big Gold belt. All available either in CNC or deep hand-etched plates and with real leather straps. And that's not all. Big Blue Cage are also the exclusive stockists of other old school items that I absolutely love, including WWF, WCW and old school Hasbro sock sets, and the one accessory that every wrestling fan's car needs, Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage wiper blades. It's time for the mega powers to explode once again. With UK and worldwide delivery options available and custom designs accepted, head on over now to bigbluecage.com.
I went to a comic book store for an appearance, a signing, and I was like, oh shoot, it's a comic book store. They had wrestling selections too, like every department, Ninja Turtle, everything. Oh my God, Bionic Man, want like old school stuff, like Donnie and Marie lunchbox. I should have bought. And I'm looking, and I have a Stevie Richards action figure. They had two. I bought them both. Okay.
That's a right to censor, Stevie.
It's signed by Stevie. So I'm selling one of them on my store and keeping the other one for myself. But nice. I was like, what? How are people not buying this? I was like, oh my God, I can't believe you have two. People are not, they're naive. He's such a hard worker. He's so great in the ring, a great teacher. Just, oh my God, he believed in me. He believed in me.
I really enjoy him doing his wrestling analysis videos now because he's just got such a great mind for the business. And he's also got a really positive mind for business. And I think that's something that, we were talking off air about this, but, as someone who has loved this industry for 30 plus years, the thing that I can't stand is the negativity. And it's such an industry that's fueled by it, which is what I'm trying to say. This is a place for positivity because we all know there is a very dark side to the ring. We've all, I've lost many heroes. You've lost many friends. We know there's the dark side to this business, but there's also a lot of light that this brings and a lot of joy. And for me, it's been 3 decades of escapism, and that's what I want to.
And Ben too. Like, I remember, someone said, "Oh my God, this happened," and I go, "Why did he get let go?" And because of one of the Dark Side of the Ring shows or whatever. And I watched that one. It was with Ric Flair, and I was like, I'm not watching these series. It was so negative on our business. It was so dark. For me, there's certain topics I don't talk about. I told you the things I don't want to talk about because I had nothing but great experience in the companies I work for, and I'm not here to crap on who pays my bills. I still do signing, Victoria or Tara, or Lisa from GAW TV, or you know what I mean? But I had such a wonderful experience. And when I decided to leave WWE, I've only talked to Vince like 3 times, but one of them was, do you see the championship in my future? And they gave me the look like this. And I go, oh, okay. I'm the Fit Finlay of enhancing the talent, which I wouldn't mind being a trainer. Honestly, I don't need the limelight. That'd be actually something. Everyone asks me, would you go back in the business? And I go, for a match, it has to be really special and stuff like that. And I'm so glad I went back to the Rumble so late because no one expected it. And but it would have to be special. But I don't need the limelight. I don't need to be on stage. I'd like to help enhance and teach the young talent because they're the future of wrestling. And it is a roller coaster. Things change. The storylines change. Like when I do appearances, a lot of people come up to me like, I miss the old school wrestling. Yeah, I do too, but things change. You got to go with the times. Yeah. I think most people have ADHD. You got to freaking hurry up with the match and stuff. I don't know. That's my philosophy. Well, I don't know. People have short attention span. So they're like, okay, this is boring. You know what I mean? Let me fast forward this. You know what I mean? So it's like, you got to freaking keep the fans on the toes. So, but I'm more of an old school wrestler. I like, I'm not a fast flyer, like, I'm more, let me stalk the person I used to. Your best friends in wrestling too. Cameramen, the cable guys, the sound, the people that are moving the cables around, the people that don't get the pat on the back. Because I would talk to the camera guy. I go, once I hit this move, zoom in on my face. I'm going to stay there for freaking 30 seconds for you to zoom in on my face. And I'm going to tell a story with my face, my facial expression. Like the stalking or the, oh, I'm going to kill you. Like, I want people to feel my emotion. You know what I mean? And that's, I think, of a lost art is you need to get the fans to care about you.
Yeah. And that's when I said in my intro about you being like a real trailblazer and leader of women's wrestling. I mean, I'm going to say it because you won't, but there's been so much talk about the women's revolution, and rightly so. I mean, we're recording this in February. January's Women's Royal Rumble was outstanding, absolutely outstanding. It blew the men's Rumble away tenfold, not just in terms of storytelling and pacing, but also in the fact that you had 30 legitimately strong characters with personas and backstories, and it just
and
worked.
the blending of both companies together, and not going back to WCW wars and WWE or WWF wars. Now we're all in this together, and it was so beautiful. That's what was finally, you know what I mean? So and then all these companies that are, AEW, Ring of Honor, like all these other platforms, New Japan, like it's more of a stage for everybody to show their talent. It's not saying my company's better than your company. This company's better than that company. Do you know what I mean? It's just like people are doing, to be in the business, truly you have to have passion, and love what you do.
Yeah. But I'm going to give you your stripes here. I'm going to force this on you, even if you don't want it, because, this women's revolution, it's been talked about in recent years. But the fact is, you were part of that body of women that were that revolution before the revolution, between, Trish, Molly Holly, Gail Kim, yourself, Jazz, Jacqueline Moore, ODB, Lita, Awesome Kong. I mean, there's so many. And I think because there was this kind of strange lull period where it then kind of regressed into the diva era. Not to say there weren't some very talented names during that diva era, but it was like the persona of it regressed before it could recover again. Yet when you were doing it, but the matches, I always go back to your match that you had with Trish, the hardcore match at Madison Square Garden where you won the title. I mean, that was some hard hitting stuff. And
dude, oh my God. I broke my nose. I chipped this front tooth right here. Half of it's fake. I just had it fixed a month ago because I went to open a bottle and I used my teeth and it chipped it off again. Yeah. No, that was an expensive fix. People always think that's my favorite match. Like I always got the hardcore, the ladder, the like street fights and stuff like that. It's a pat on my back because they knew I can handle it, but the mindset going out there for that, you cannot rehearse. Like you can't go, okay, hit me with the freaking Singapore King. You like all that stuff. Jesus Christ. And then when I watch that, I'm going to do a watch along on my Twitch channel, which is you guys twitch.tv/real Lisa Marie. I'm saving that for when I get a little bit more followers because that's my most popular match. And I want to commentate on, there was a lot of things that went wrong in that match. And again, let me tell you, Madison Square Garden, New Yorkers, They love their heels. They love the bad guys, but they don't forgive you if you make a mistake. You know what I mean? And I was still a rookie. I always still felt like a rookie in the ring, because you're never going to know everything in the match, and you're not going to have a perfect match, and we make mistakes, we make mistakes, things go awry, but you got to be able to freaking continue on and freaking do, okay, this didn't work. Let's get the fans back into it. This is why, in my generation, we were taught to call a match, like not necessarily go out there and go, okay, I'm going to do the suplex and then run the ropes and hit we didn't do that. Like, you have to, like, especially as a heel, your gift is your ears, because you have to listen to the fans. Oh my God, they're not buying it. They're not cheering for her. My job is to get this baby face, everybody booing my ass and cheering for this baby face. And okay, if they're not picking, I would go, we did a lot of talking in there. Thank God for long hair. But I would go, cover your face, dude. Cover your face, because they're not getting it. I'm going ape shit. And I'm going to lay it in. So block it. And then they're like, oh God, she's pulling hair. She's biting. She pulled her nail off and stuff like that. You got to get that cheap heat.
Yeah.
It's the revolution. I'm not bitter. Like, when people, fans come up to me to say, you were revolution before the revolution and stuff like that. You know what? There was revolution before me. You know what I mean? And I got to pay respect to, Mae Young, Moolah, Sensational Sherry, Medusa, Little Egypt, Royal Hawaiian, all that kind of stuff. I got to pave the way. I got to say thank you to the people prior to me, because, again, like I said, the best way to describe wrestling is a roller coaster, Ben, because you go through the waves. Okay, you get a lull moment. Okay, let's do more bikini lingerie matches. Okay, now we're going to do a hardcore match. It's like that, and people are like, oh, weren't you upset you had to do this? They forget this is entertainment. Do you think when you watch a movie, oh my God, look at this. I'm so expressive. This is why I'm exhausted. See how I'm talking to you?
Yeah, I love it.
I am at Comic Con and cons. Okay. But, my whole point was, oh shit, my ADHD just kicked in. What was I saying, Ben?
Revolution before revolution.
Yeah. Yes, it's paving way, and the fans come up to me upset about that, and I'm like, do you think when you watch a movie, this is where I was going with it, when you watch a movie that the actor goes, I don't think my character should die at the end? You know what? You're in a horror flick. You're supposed to die at the end. Do you know what I mean? We don't go, hey, I don't think I should lose this match. You're lucky to be part of a match, you know what I mean? And part of a storyline. And I think the fans are more upset and more passionate than what us in our head are going, like, oh, we're not thinking like I'm losing the match. I just want to have a good match.
I think it's projection of yourself somewhat onto the performance of the ring, because, for so many years, the role of women within wrestling was such an unusual one, because
eye candy, the candle on the cake or something. Yeah,
but they're not always, because you go back to WrestleMania 1, and the semi-main event was a women's title match.
Yeah,
you go, centered around Cyndi Lauper. You go to WrestleMania 10, and there's Alundra Blaze coming down the aisle to ironically wrestle the challenger from WrestleMania 1, but with full of their fireworks, and then into that great feud with Bull Nakano, and for a brief period, it felt like women's wrestling.
Have you interviewed Medusa? Have you introduced Medusa?
No, I'd love to. I think it should be fascinating.
Oh God, she's a hoot. We're very close friends. You got to have her on the show. I'll put a good word in for you, kid.
Thank you. I like being called a kid. That's enough. But then you go from 1995, where genuinely Alundra Blaze, Medusa, was one of the biggest acts in WWF in 1995. 3 years later, we are in full bra and panties match territory, and and case in point, the fact that I think why that 2002 match is so significant for Survivor Series is
it was outside the box.
But two women having a great match that's outside the box. But those two women, one of them debuted as the Godfather's hoe, the other one debuts as the valet for TNA. It just shows how quickly you can rewrite the narrative. And that's what's been great about the last few years has been, I feel like finally we can't go back now. There's been so many backward steps for women's wrestling. It can't now. Like literally it's woven into the fabric of WWE specifically. But you can't not have a women's Royal Rumble now. You can't not have women's war games. You can't give women equal billing at WrestleMania. Once you've done
having on a show now, who would have thought we had 2 matches on a freaking show of women? You know what I mean? And I remember when we used to get that lingerie and that bikini match, our outfits were already skimpy enough. And we're like, sometimes our bra and panties and stuff like that were bigger than our gear. But when we used to get told, okay, you got a bra and panties match or something like that, we're like going, you know what? Let's get with Fit. We're going to have a cutoff spot where the heel takes over, where people are going to forget wearing lace and leather or whatever and stuff like that. They're going to go, oh my God. They're going to forget that it's a bra and panties match. Yeah. They're not going to look at it as, cheap, like, I don't know how to put it in words. A cheap, TNA, not total nonstop action, but the other TNA. So we used to like, okay, you want a bra and panties match? We would roll our eyes backstage. I mean, back in our locker room, but we're like, okay, let's kill each other in this.
Yeah.
I think get that word
I think wrestling, there's the idea that wrestling fans want that because it's for light entertainment, it's that light relief, and it's a mainly male demographic. But actually, I don't think they did. Like you see in reality, like how much Sable was embraced when Sable started to become a kick-ass,
a sex symbol.
And people want that. When Trish moved from one to the other, everyone went for it. So I think in reality, wrestling fans, they want to watch wrestling. They want to watch. I agree. They want to watch athletes. They don't. It's a sign of the times. But I like to think we have moved beyond that. But I think the thing that when I look back to your era, and I can understand why people come up to you at conventions and kind of ask for your opinion and whether you feel a bit bitter about it, is because
I don't. I feel like a proud grandma. I feel like a proud grandma going, look at these girls kicking ass. They deserve it.
It's not them. It's you had to fight so hard for your time, didn't you? Like it felt like I can't even remember, maybe it was WrestleMania 19 when you have that triple threat. It felt like most of the matches, you just had such a short window of time to tell a story in compared to the men.
Yeah. And a lot of the times we would get into Gorilla. And for you guys that are watching Gorillas before the curtain, they're like, hey, your time. This is why we have to stick with time cues. Like if the third match, like, and say on fourth match, the third match went over a minute, we got to knock off a minute on our show, on our match. And so I was always like the one going, I don't need my ring entrance. Ixnay my ring entrance. I'll do my ring entrance during the commercial break. Let us have the match. And even though the entrance is important part 2, it sets the stage and stuff like that. I didn't learn that till way later, but I was like, I don't need my entrance. I want to wrestle. I just start filming us in the ring. But we got so used to the time cuts and stuff like that. It was just part of the show. You can't get upset about that. You know what I mean? Someone messed up in the beginning, like for us, we would have to keep our time cue. We went over and the main eventer is Undertaker, we don't want him to knock off a minute on Undertaker. He's bringing the freaking asses in the seat. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was, I just see what I appreciate doing these interviews. I don't realize what I've done in the business until I talk about it out loud, because, like you said, we're human. We have normal life, like at home, paying bills, walking the dogs, taking them, getting my tooth fixed, stuff like that. We still live in a normal world, and we're very normal, but just an elaborated career.
Yeah, your normal people have led pretty extraordinary lives and personas, but also the thing you don't see is the impact that those moments and the memories create. Like and
this is when I talk to you, Ben, that it makes me go, oh my God, I did that. Yeah. And also these conventions when people go, do you remember this match? And I go, no, I don't, but I'm glad you remember it. And it touched you so much, like we worked 4 days a week on the road. We had matches, no off season. It's not like football or baseball. It's ongoing. I can't remember a lot of my career because it's just go. How do I make my next match better?
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess you're in, as an audience member, you're there just enjoying the experience, but as a performer, you're there the entire time, running through your steps, aren't you? Trying to make that match the best you can, probably immediately analysing it and having anxiety after a match, thinking, I wish I'd done that, I wish I'd done that, and then it begins again.
Yeah, and again, yes, and also too, for my generation, a lot of us girls, if we messed up, like maybe the fans might not notice we messed up on something. But in our head, you beat yourself up. Like it prevents you from sleeping, like, because we were such perfectionists, I guess. We wanted such a perfect match that one, like, Fit was like going, when I went backstage, I didn't need the pat on of course, yes, I want a thumbs up. Don't get me wrong. But tell me what I did wrong, because I'm not going to learn from you patting my back going, you're the best. Oh my God, you're the best. You need to get criticized. So we would watch our matches. It would get taped on VHS, and in catering, we would watch the match, sit down with Fit Finlay and critique the hell out of it. Like even stupid things like going, oh my God, look how I got in the ring. Stupid stuff like that. We were so critical about what we did, or that gear sucked, or, I should have looked at the camera after that move. Silly, stupid little, like, the movements between each move, that kind of thing, but learning from Fit Finlay, he made us badasses, and he delved when he got in charge of the girls, and he goes, okay, I'm making them fighters. You want me to get the girls? I'm going to make them badasses. And he just dove into our personalities and created what he thought we portrayed, even though we didn't see it ourselves, but he enlightened us on, like, he was our dad. He was our godfather of our women's division. Yeah. Man, amazing. And I just ran into his son, David, at an indie show. It was for at a temple, Jewish temple, and he goes, "Hi, you don't let's take a picture." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, no worries." And he goes, "You don't remember me, do you?" And I go, oh no, God, this happens to me all the time. And I'm like, he goes, I'm Fit Finlay's kid. And I go, oh my God, you were a little boy. You were a little tiny boy when I met you. I go, he's a man, and now he's wrestling, big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Like being a kid of a legend, like you're just, a lot of pressure on you there too, but, craziness. Sorry, I just went on my ADHD tangent.
No, I can listen. I can listen to you,
child.
But no, I mean, I think Fit Finlay has got such an incredible, influence, hasn't he? He made such a difference to that women's industry.
Yeah, we all flew out and spent the night out there in Atlanta, where he lives. Went into the ring with Dave Taylor and Regal. And worked in the ring. All of us girls were so, like, we got there, like, maybe call time was at like 12. We got there at 10 to get in the ring and brush up on our repertoire. Like, Arn Anderson was there, Ricky Steamboat, like all these legends, Tommy Dreamer, Lance Storm. We would all get in the ring. They knew the girls were getting there early and learning from Fit, Arn, Ricky, and all that kind of stuff. They were trying to pick their minds too. And we would get in there just to go, what can I do between this move? I want to be really vicious. I want people to really boo me and hate me out there. Do you know what I mean? But we worked hard. It wasn't just it was not a 9-to-5 job, like call time to end. And also back in my generation, we were not allowed to leave the show. We stayed till the very end. It's disrespectful to leave after your match and not watch the main event or something, like, because you're going to still learn from the main eventer. Why are they main eventing? What am I doing wrong? I should be main eventing. Let me learn from them, I
think it's one of the things that I find really interesting. The more talent that I speak with is exactly what you're describing. The day of a sports entertainer, because for us watching on the screen, I mean, to be honest, so I get exhausted watching a 3-hour pay-per-view. Like I'm really tired by an hour and a half in. Yet your day probably starts at, well, when would you arrive in the arena? Midday, 1 o'clock?
No, 11.
11.
For us girls, 11. We didn't have that rule. Pay-per-view, you get there early. Don't forget the time differences too, because we're never late. We had people at the door. If we showed up, if we were supposed to be there at 12, we get there at 12:05. They write our name down. We got fined. You know what I mean? Wow. Unless you call ahead and hey, I just got in a car accident, something horrible like that or something.
Yeah.
But it's you guys see like the 2-hour show or the 3 hours of the show. We're there all day long from morning until the end of the show. And then we would drive to the next town. So sometimes 3-hour drive, or hurry up, get up earlier and catch a flight, land, get to the building. It's taxing, and also getting to the gym, tanning back in our day when we tanned, and us getting there early to get our makeup done. House shows, we didn't have a makeup artist or anything, but for TV, we had a makeup artist. You know what I mean? So, it's exhausting. And then it's exhausting. Honestly, and that's why you have the passion for it, because 4 days a week, man, who suffers the most out of this? You being on the road, your mate at home. You come home exhausted. You don't want to do anything. Hey, let's go out to dinner. Oh no, I've been on the road for 4 days. But it's our anniversary. Oh no, I'd rather be home. Let's just order a pizza. I don't want to put my face on. I'm going to be in my muumuu with zit cream on my face. We look beautiful on camera, on TV. When we get home,
yeah, of course.
I don't want to get all dolled up for you.
Because again, real people. This is not this is entertainment. It's a TV show. It's a wonderful world of escapism, but it's not real life. And I think people
forget about that.
It's all too easy to overlook that with pop stars, with sports stars, with film stars. You're just real people, aren't you? And one of the things that I love, I've really loved following your journey the last few years, because talking about real people, we're not going to have this conversation and not talk about Gore TV. I mean,
yes.
What I love is, so I heard you describing this as grown-ass woman talking nonsense in your pajamas, drinking wine, which I just think is perfect. I mean, I guess, for anyone who hasn't checked out a Gore TV, which would be surprising by now, how would you...
I agree.
How would you describe the show? And but more importantly, how much does it help tether you and connect you to your friends and wrestling over a strange few years?
And you were okay. It's amazing. I'm still very tight with my girls, and some of the guys. I'll text Tommy once a month. We're very, very close. My generation, we can meet up at WrestleCon and it's back like we were back on the road again. You know what I mean? Grown ass women. It's us being real and talking wrestling, talking about menopause, talking about real life, and inviting some guests from our past, new guests like paranormal activities, people like things that we're interested, SoCal Val's huge drag queen fan. I am too, but not as obsessed as SoCal Val is. I go to RuPaul DragCon every year. But we met so many people through this show. But we needed to take a break. It's hard to get guests. Even us, we've been on TV and we've worked with these people. It's hard to get freaking guests. And, sometimes they cancel. And you're like, oh God, we don't have a guest next week. Okay, let's just do us three. We can hang, but it's so fun. I mean, you guys are actually diving into our home and us actually how we used to talk back in the day in the locker room or driving together, like with our driving partners and stuff like that. And when we would have our guests, like Chavo or Carlito or Tori or Candace or Gail or ODB, like we would talk about not just our matches. It's like, hey, do you remember this time? Like for example, ODB, remember we were driving and it was such a long drive and we saw a billboard and it was for a strip club, the truckers stop, like a trucker stop, right? A dive place. And I go, oh God, I've always been curious what those places look like. And ODB looked at me and I was like, you want to stop? We stopped and we took a picture in front of the billboard and said budget cuts. Yeah. And it was, we get to see like invite people of like how we are normal and like how we dealt with stuff. And we had frustrations. It wasn't like, always, roses and, sunshine and rainbows and stuff like that. I think our friends were our therapists because we can vent to each other and get it off our chest and just go on with the okay, let's go work. And we all help each other. We don't we don't stab each other in the back, I told you I'm focusing on my live auctions. I got ODB on the whatnot. I got Alicia Fox on the whatnot. I got Melina Perez on it. And I'm trying to get Nick Dinsmore. I'm like, dude, I go, you'd make a killing, man. People just want to talk, ask questions and okay, buy my 8x10. This is like a meet and greet where you'll notice when you go to WrestleCon, when the line's so long, they have to get through the line. So sometimes going, hey, tell me about this match. Next, your shoot along. So this is a little bit more personal, and they get to know us and have time. And the best thing about having the YouTube channel. I'm at home. I don't need to get after I'm done with that freaking the show. I scrape this makeup off and put my bun in, get my moo on, and I'm I get to watch TV. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. Yeah. But it is, I think people also, Ben, when you have a podcast, it's a lot of work. People think you're just on that for 30 minutes or 2 hours or whatever, that time. Don't forget, we have to do editing, and we have to oh God, I got to get a next guest. Oh shoot, I got to get a next guest. Okay. Oh no, I already wore this last week. Oh no. You know what I mean? And what should we talk about? What should be the topic on this one? And, it's not just that one day for you and I. We've been talking every single day since we booked this podcast. Asking me, what do you not want to talk about? What do you want? And I'm like, I like it organic. I don't want to even know what we're talking about, but don't get negative on the business. I told you, I don't talk badly about anyone. I'm not here to bury anybody. And, it just, I like to be kind and still, that's why everybody's like, you need to write a book. And I go, oh, no. I wouldn't even know where to begin. I would need a whole encyclopedia set because I've experienced so much. And it's crazy. I'm thankful though. I really when people still reach out, I told you, I get a lot of emails about podcasts, right? Yeah. And I'm very flattered, but I can't keep up with all my social media, my DMs, my Gmail, and my I have 4. Okay, I have 5, including GAW TV, 5 emails that go to one, and I'm overwhelmed. That's why I joined the podstars.net, I told you. But I'm flattered. I look at the email, I'm overwhelmed because I think ADHD too, going, oh my God, look at all these requests. I'm flattered, but it's impossible to fit everything in. Do you know what I mean?
You have to be selective and do what feels right for you. But it's also, I think it's a recognition for...
It is. I'm like, oh my God, thank God people still want to talk to me.
Yeah.
And I still have relevant, I'm still relevant in the business. And I'm like, I'm so flattered. But then they get upset when I don't respond to a DM or that kind of stuff. I had to kaputzi, going on social media. I told you, after 5 p.m. at night, no phone rule. Mm-hmm. This is California time. We have no phones. And when David's home, my boyfriend, limited. I go, oh shoot, I have a Twitch thing tomorrow. I'm just going to post about that, and I'm done with the phone. I'm done. I'm putting it away. So yeah.
Yeah, but it's also amazing, I think, that you have this ability to have these direct conversations with fans that just wouldn't have been possible before. And I think what it does is all those requests you're receiving just shows, what an incredible run you had between WWE and TNA. What a revolutionary character you were.
It's very flattering.
You touched a lot of lives, Lisa, and I think people want to have those moments with you, but it has to be right for you, doesn't it? And right for your family life, and right for whatever you've got going on.
And I think people are going, oh, she can't squeeze me in. And I'm like, and they forget we are normal. And I go, oh my God, I got to cook dinner. Mm-hmm. Shoot, I got to go to the post office and ship my stuff. I don't have a car. I got to ride my bike to the post office. And I go, oh shoot, I'm out of pee-pee pads. I got to make an order for Costco. Like, you know, we still have a normal, like,
Yeah.
okay, I got to steam clean the carpets. I got to, oh God, I got to clean the toilet and I got to clean my bathroom. I don't have a maid. I got to do all this stuff too. It's not just all day nesting.
Sounds like you do a better job around the house than I do. I might get you around mine at this rate if you steam clean your carpets.
I wish I can get someone to help me do all this stuff. Honestly. It's a lot. It's being an adult, that's overrated.
Oh, adulting sucks. That's why that's why I have a wrestling podcast and have toys. It's like,
yeah.
This is my world. And when I go back to being a dad and I go back to working for a living, it's like, I need this. I get to talk to WWE with lovely people like you. This is my escape from, ironically,
reality.
Wrestling was my escape from reality when I was a kid. It has continued to be. And I think that's why wrestlers occupy such a special place in people's hearts, is because actually, like, you know, I go back to that Survivor Series 2002 match. I can remember exactly where I was in life when I watched that show. Those MSG shows always had I think because of the setup, they were always very special to watch. I'm going back to WrestleMania 10 and kind of thinking about different shows that took place there over the years. Like, it kind of always, whenever there was an MSG show like Royal Rumble 2000, Royal Rumble 2008, they immediately come to mind because there's something very special about MSG. And but I can remember where I was watching that. I can remember where I was watching WrestleMania 19, which friends I was with, WrestleMania 20. You know, because I like Gore TV and you know how that's helped you with Val and Mickie keep connected. You know, when lockdown hit, the first thing I kind of locked.
That was the best thing about the lockdown. Is all this social media and everything disposable on your computer. I think that was, and also Zoom chatting. Yeah. All this FaceTiming with your friends and stuff like that. Yeah. We had to take a break for GAW TV because our schedules were so busy. We're like, are you available this day? Oh no, I have an appearance that day. Oh no, I have a doctor's appointment. And we're like, okay, let's take like just a little hiatus and make people miss us a little bit and bring it back, revamp it and stuff like that, because it's a lot. We're on the phone.
It is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. You're a one-man band. We have two girls, and then the person that is editing to watch in the background. I mean, thank goodness we have Tony LaRusso. He was in the back going, okay, we're like, hey, Tony, cut that out. Yeah. Snip it. And he'll write it down. At least we have that, you know what I mean? And, this COVID thing.
I luckily, and when I say this, his little face will pop up here because that's what he does. I luckily have my producer Jeff from Tall Lake Productions, who is one of my oldest, dearest friends and a lifelong wrestling fan. And so he also, thank heavens, I have that, because there's so much in this. This bringing a conversation to life across multiple platforms there's a lot to it. This episode of Wrestling Life is brought to you in partnership with our friends over at Legacy Sports Nutrition. Take your physical and mental performance to the next level with Test X9, the natural testosterone booster. Clinically proven, Test X9 from Legacy Sports Nutrition is NSF certified, third-party lab tested, and made in the US of A. And it's brought to you by friends of the show, 3-time world champion Nick Aldis and 10-time world champion Mickie James. Nick developed and uses these products himself, so you know they work, and he shows you how over at legacysups.com, with links to clinical studies on each of the 9 key ingredients. No bull, no bro science, just facts. It's time to level up your strength, energy, libido and drive now with Test X9 from Legacy Sports Nutrition. And if you want to really level up, go for the ultimate test stack, adding T-Assist, a pro-grade estrogen inhibitor and test enhancer, and the best-selling sleep aid Recovery PM, and discover why improving your sleep is the key to unlocking your mental and physical potential. So stop settling for average. Go to legacysups.com now and use the promo code WrestlingLife for 10% off your entire order. That's promo code WrestlingLife. And if you subscribe to have it shipped every 30 days, you can still get the discount every single time. So head on over now to legacysups.com and level up with Legacy.
Yeah, and it's hard because like for example, Royal Hawaiian, you know, she's been ill And I just thought about her. Don't ask me why today. And I go, hey girl, I'm just thinking about you. Honestly, I go, something just maybe popped up on camera or on TV. And you crossed my mind. I go, I just wanting to send you what. She goes, oh, I haven't been feeling well. She goes, and my family didn't reach out. And I go, oh God, I feel bad. I go, I don't go scrolling on social media anymore. I don't have time to see what my friends are going through. So they're like, I can't believe it was my birthday. My friend didn't wish me happy birthday or something like that. And you're like, I don't live on this. I can barely keep up with my own shit.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know what I mean?
I hear because our feeds are, it's the same for me. You know, my feed is a business feed and a personal feed. And so I've got my own friends on there, but I've also got people who are engaging wonderfully with this podcast and with my business. And it just turns into this big homogenous number of notifications.
Oh yeah. Also too, if people have not watched on Netflix, it's called Social Dilemma. And I watched that. I had a gay couple that used to live in my building, and I'm so upset they moved to Palm Springs. They were my escape from my home to go hang out in their apartment and watch our shows and stuff like that and drink wine. And they go, have you seen Social Dilemma? Have you seen the movie Social Dilemma?
Yeah.
That's when the rule in my house says, when you get home, like when he gets home from work, you're not doing this. I'm sorry. You're not present. And it pisses me off when I see people at the dinner table, and they're with people and they're on their phones, that kind of stuff. And what upsets me too, when you're at conventions and the person's at a signing, and you see them behind the table going like this. And I'm like, dude, you're here for the fans. You know how many times people say like, hey, I saw you on the phone. I didn't want to bother you. And I go, oh, I was posting about, I'm here. Yeah. No, I'm here to be bothered. I'm sorry. So I always have the person, I always give them my passcode on my phone. I said, hey, can you post that picture and let people know that I'm here? Or like, I want to post a picture. I just took pictures with this transformer and I think it's really cool. Can you post it? And then they're like, what do you want me to say in the description? I go, just what I just did. Don't, you have to be elaborate. Just, how I talk and stuff like that. Because I think it's rude. There's a time and place for a phone. Yeah. And it's sad. I don't get it. It's a babysitter now. You know what I mean? I went off on shit from wrestling.
No, because that's a massive bugbear of mine. We've been speaking about this off air, haven't we? I mean, I would recommend, there's a book called Stolen Focus by Johan Hari. Absolutely will blow your mind.
Is that a show? Is that a movie?
No, it's a book. Stolen Focus. It's an incredible book.
Okay.
Which
tell me that.
I will do.
I'll forget.
Changed my life. Very much complementary to the social dilemma in terms of just making me realize how pervasive technology is and how much it's damaging us. But I'm as guilty as anyone, especially since I've been doing lots of these podcasts and I'm working on a time difference. We're recording this now. This is my night time. This is your morning time.
I know. And you know what? I never do podcasts before noon.
No, I got you, didn't I? I got you with some coffee.
I even complained to you because I said I did a whatnot and it was at noon. I go, oh my God, I'm scrambling. I got to get my face. I go, oh, I'm not, I don't wake up chipper. I need a couple cups of coffee.
Yeah.
And this face does not do itself. I got to put makeup on. For us, I got to coffee up. I got to do makeup. I got to straighten my hair. Okay, what top am I going to wear for this? It's an all-day affair, but it's.
Well, I appreciate the earlier one, but
yes.
but what I mean is
my dear.
I try and put good limits in terms of phone use, but actually it's really hard because I'm DMing all of these great talent.
Yes, potential. Yes, yeah.
And I'm working to their time difference, but I've got to put barriers in like you do because actually it's so important because you just burn out. And talking about podcasting and where you've come to with Gore is like there's so much goes into this, and I absolutely love doing this, and I want to be doing this for many, many years.
Yeah,
so this is about playing the long game and not getting exhausted
or getting burnt out, out or anything like that. I told you, even though on my Instagram I did an automatic reply when people DM me because they're getting upset that I don't respond. Thank you, or hi back, or I hope you're having a great day. Thank you. I cannot be on this all day. I wouldn't get anything done in my day. But I always have to do at night when David gets home, oh shit, I got to promote my Twitch. I'm promoting, I would say, I'm promoting my Twitch right now. And he goes, you don't have to tell me. And I go, well, I want you to know that I'm not going scrolling, like going, what's ODB doing? What's this? You know, like that. I'm not doing this for my health anymore. You know what I mean? I used to enjoy social media. I have 2 Facebook accounts. One was supposed to be private. It's not private. My brother goes, hey, did you see our post on Facebook? I go, I don't scroll. I'm sorry. No, just text me if you have something to share. I go, I can't. Because you get in that rabbit hole going like this. The thing I am addicted to, and I'm guilty, I play bingo. Okay. There's bingo apps for money, like $2. And you could, I try to limit just 5 games a day. It's not like I'm making $100 or anything like that. It's $2 a game or something like that. Yeah. That's my addiction. That's my rabbit hole. I'm like, oh no, I already played 6 games. No, let me stop, But that's my guilty pleasure on the phone is my bingo.
Yeah. Well, look, it's we all just have to manage and navigate this. But, this show's called Wrestling Life for several reasons. And partly life is something to wrestle all the time. We have to constantly navigate these challenges, don't we? I mean, one of the things I found with my consumption of wrestling.
You have a child.
I got 2. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how you do it.
Nor do I.
I have 2 dogs and I'm like, it's a handful. And I'm like, oh God, I love kids. Don't get me wrong. But if I had a child, oh my God. And I'm so protected over my dogs. I don't know how I would be with a freaking
I am
child.
Too. Do you know what, though? This is where the ADHD comes in, because actually I'm very, very good at compartmentalizing things. So like, for example, I've launched multiple brands because I know how to bring brands to market, and I can hyper focus on that one thing. When it comes to interviewing guests, I can hyper focus into my research of that particular person or promoting it. But then I can generally switch it off and move on to the next thing. So I can transition from this back to family life. But unfortunately, the flip side is then I have the 3 a.m. insomnia where suddenly a great creative idea comes to mind and I'm wired and on my laptop. And I know we're both the same, aren't we? It's
Yeah, but I'll get in those phases though too, where I had say I did a convention, you won't hear I'll get a text message from, hey, are you okay? And I'm like, I turn my phone off. I don't even pick up text messages. I need to decompress. And I remember when I come back from a convention, David would say, how was it? And I'm like, good. And he goes, oh, who'd you see? And I'm like, oh no, I'm done. I'm clocked out. I'm home. I don't want to talk about what I did this weekend. He's not a huge wrestling fan, so I have to explain are they nice? Because he would, this is how, okay, he didn't grow up watching wrestling. Okay. So he's a California boy. He knew The Rock, he knew, Hulk Hogan, the people that have been on this big screen. Right. And I remember going on the Jericho cruise, which I highly recommend. That's your next trip. Jericho cruise, inexpensive. We don't have security. Okay. We're there I'm next door to a fan and we're just on the cruise with everybody. We might have a panel, bowling, or some, that kind of thing, but we're there on the cruise with everybody as a fan of wrestling. And I remember this is how, I had to tell him, don't ask me anything in front of people. It's an insult to what I do for a living. You should know who these people are, but he didn't grow up, right? In the business or watching it. And he would go, hey, there's that guy. He's walking towards you. The guy with the gray hair. He always talks. So you're a really good friend. You're good friends with him. And I looked up. I go, Ric Flair. He's Ric Flair. He's a nature boy. He's known as the nature boy. And I go, shh, don't talk. And I'm like, hey, Rick, how you doing? That kind of. He goes, oh. I go, this is my boyfriend David. And he goes, oh, you're the lucky bastard that has to deal with this shit. You know what I mean? And but that's how out of the loop he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. It's a double-edged sword dating someone that's a fan because that's all they're going to talk about is wrestling, or someone that's not a fan that asks oh, have I met her? Have I met him? Oh, who was there? Who was your table next to you? And I'm going, oh, yeah, I go, it's okay. I go, let's order a pizza. Let's make top ramen. Let's just watch our paranormal shows, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's
But another side effect of ADHD is obviously hyper interest. And, you know, my poor wife, my wife had no interest in wrestling whatsoever. And she has endured it for 17 years now. I mean, she's watched one WrestleMania with me. And I think that almost killed her. I took her to see the Iron Claw last night on a date night. And I came out at the end and I was just blown away. And I went, what did you think? And she was like, well, that wasn't very fun, was it? You could have forewarned me. I was like, yeah, I kind of assumed she knew the story. God. She turned around halfway through and said, are these real people? I was like, yeah, this is a real story. I just assumed, you know, the Von Erich family, she knew Ric Flair. But but I will manage to turn any conversation around to wrestling. Any conversation. It drives her nuts. She's like, how do you manage to...
I know. It's a tough relationship. It is. It's a tough relationship. It's I remember Sarah Stock texted me, Sarita, she was on TNA and she was a trainer at WWE. She goes, hey, I'm in town. I'm with AEW. We have a show in town. Do you have any clothes I can borrow? And I go, girl, I'm retired. I don't have any gear left. The only one I have left is Rumble. She goes, not wrestling gear, girl. She goes, business attire. I go, do you see how I dress? I go, I might wear a nice top up here. Thank God I have merch that now I can just pimp out. I go, I'm in shorts or sweats all day. And she goes, hey, well, we're in town. Do you want to come by and watch AEW? So I was like, yeah. So she got us 2 tickets and we took an Uber out there and she goes, well, are you coming backstage? And I go, oh, well, I kind of want to watch the show. I've never been to an AEW live. And I didn't know they were filming 2 shows in one night, but we did watch the first one. My boyfriend went with me. You know, I don't go like looking like this. I'm like ponytail, baseball hat, and just tights and long sleeve, you know, that kind of just normal looking. I'm not there to get attention. And we were watching the show and he goes, which one am I supposed to be cheering for? See, I'm learning a lot from him not knowing. I go, you're not supposed to ask me this. You're supposed to automatically know who the bad guy is. And I go, don't ask me now. And I went as a fan. I was on second tier and I remember texting Justin, remember the ring announcer?
Yeah, Justin Roberts.
I go, hey, look over your right shoulder. I'm up, I'm here. And he goes, and he looked down on the floor and I go, oh no, I'm in the balcony. Freaking AEW. I'm in the nosebleed section. He goes, how'd you get those terrible seats? And I go, I guess Sarah Stock didn't have pool, but I was up there and I was watching the show and they did so many dangerous moves. I was like, oh my God. Oh, ah. I was like reacting as a fan because I still am a fan. Okay. Yeah. I pop at everything, even a good arm drag. I'm going to pop really. I'm like, look at how beautiful that arm drag is. And the guy next to me, there's my boyfriend here, and there's fans of AEW. And the guy next to me goes, is this your first wrestling match you ever watched? And I go, oh my God. And then the guy heard the guy ask him, I didn't know they knew who I was. They're like, that's Victoria from WWE. And he goes, oh, I didn't even expect you to react to the matches like that. I go, he took a bump on the apron. You guys have no idea. It's like taking a bump on cement.
Yep.
And the suicide dives are so dangerous. Like, it's just like, they don't, you know, when you're in the ring, you know what's dangerous and what's not.
Yeah.
And some moves are like, what? Oh, how does his body do that? You know what I mean? And just appreciation for what they do in the ring. I pop huge.
But there's a lot of stuff I watch, and this is just from 35 years of being a fan, never having taken a bump, Lisa. But you know, God, I see a Canadian.
But you know,
I see a Canadian destroyer on a ring apron. I'm like, just don't do that. Like, no one needs that. Like, the margin for error is so small, and I've seen so many people paralyzed and have broken necks.
Exactly. The risk of actually getting hurt from a move that looks so simple to you guys, but it takes 2 to tango. You know what I mean? Pick that moment where you're going to do a dangerous move, because that's why you have the great matches with your best friends, because you're putting each other's life in each other's hands. So that trust is there. Like, when you're like people that are doing indie shows, they're just meeting their opponent for the first time. And I'm like, oh God, I wasn't great. I was like going, oh my God, I don't know the repertoire. I would Google and study what they do, but I've never even know how they even lock up with me or put me in an arm, taking my arm or something like that. You have to have that trust right there. But yeah, you're a wrestling fan, so you know what's dangerous and what's not, and you know the history. But David, like when he was watching with me, or I'm like, we watched the Rumble when I did a live reaction. I didn't have Twitch yet, but I did a live reaction on each girl that came out, and David's watching because he's not a wrestling fan. He didn't know who anybody is, and he would comment. He goes, "Are those hair extensions? I don't remember hair being that long." And I was like, going, "Dude, I'm doing a live comment. He's talking too real to me. You could talk to me in private, like going, oh, I don't like that outfit,' or that kind of stuff." Yeah. I go, "Don't talk when I'm on freaking to the camera shit." I go, "Please." I go, "People are going to going, oh my God, is he really just watching it because he just doesn't know the business?" Like I go, "You have no idea how difficult it is to do a beautiful arm drag. An arm drag is hard."
But I think that's really refreshing. I think, I think the best relationships are the ones where people have very different life experiences. My wife and me are so different in so many different ways, and I think that's what makes us a great partnership. And I think it's so if you got with someone because he watches,
you'll be dating yourself, and you'll be dating yourself, and you have nothing to talk about. Yeah, exactly. It's. I think the opposites is better. I'll be honest with you. I don't know how people date in the industry. You eat, breathe, sleep, wrestling, and then you go home, eat, breathe, sleep, and wrestling. I guess maybe they get it. Maybe they need time apart. I don't know. But it's refreshing to be opposites. I remember, like, I'm such a introvert, extrovert, like I'm very talkative. I talk to everybody, that kind of thing. Like I remember going to the grocery store, and I like name tags. Like even my waitress, I'm like, "Oh, thank you, Cheryl. Thank you." And they're like, "Oh, how do you know my name?" People like to hear their names. I took a psychology class in 7th grade, and I still remember people like to, it means you care and you're listening, right? And he goes, "How do you know her?" My boyfriend would go, "How do you know her?" I go, "Oh, I don't." I go, "She had a name tag," and I'm not going to say, "Hey, you." I'm not going to, that kind of thing. And he's very opposite. I know most of the homeless people in my neighborhood, their first names, you know what I mean? Mm. Or, I can tell by their voice when they're yelling, but, I think opposites do attract, honestly. Yeah. And he's like, he'll still never get it. Wrestling. He's been to a couple Comic-Cons with me, or he hasn't been to a WrestleCon or anything like that. And I was there for 3 days, and we went back to the hotel. It was because of California. We could drive there. We rented a car, right? And so he went out with me, and he was like, "I don't know how you do this. I don't know how you turn on when a fan, every time a person comes up there, you're on." And I go, "Why do you think I'm exhausted when I come home? I don't know what personality they want from me either." Like kids, like I might go into my heel mode and then just kidding. Or, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. But you've got to like be able to read your audience too, and be on. And even if I'm like, I walk to go to the loo, to go to the bathroom, I have to be on just in case I cross paths with a fan, like I don't want them to go, "Oh, I just saw her outside. Oh my God, she looks exhausted." You got to still be with it, but he still doesn't get it. I go, "You've experienced a Comic-Con with me. You know how exhausted I am. That's why." And he still, when I get home, he goes, "Are you mad?" And I go, "You already done a weekend with me. You're not even interacting with the fans." I go, and I'm on, and I'm standing on my feet, and I'm trying to be peppy the whole time, and I'm starving to death, and I'm dehydrated, and I'm wearing a tight girdle under my freaking gear so I can look skinny. Yeah. And make sure my lipstick's on. Like, it's just a lot.
I think this all shows, Faye, this is self-respect for yourself, for the career you had, and for wanting to portray yourself in the best possible light, isn't it? And give your fans the experience of meeting Victoria or meeting Tara. That's what people are coming to see, aren't they? They're coming to meet a character. They want to have that moment with you, but they also, when you see someone at a convention, you are there, you're wanting to meet the character, aren't you? And have that moment. Yeah. I think that's what a convention offers, is that moment with a larger of a life personality. And And when they're not like that, it's really,
yes, they're
disappointing.
mostly opposite. Like the ones that are usually, but you know, like, I don't know, everybody, they're very mellow in real life. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I've heard so many people come up to me at my table going, oh, I just met this person. And I'm like, ugh, you know, the saying, don't meet your heroes. And I go, oh, I'm so sorry that happened. I go, you know, maybe something happened. Like, you know, I'm not making excuses for them. I don't know what, you know, but when I hear that, I'm like, I can't, nope, I'm not, here's my phone, take it away. I'm here for you. And I want them to walk away with a good experience, Ben.
I tell you the problem with the analogy of don't meet your heroes. And I can say this as someone who's had the privilege of interviewing many of my heroes over the last couple of years, is you meet your heroes, you have to meet your heroes at the right time for them as well as you. And so I think the thing is, as a fan, I spot you out for groceries and I go, oh, Victoria, oh, I remember you from when I was a kid, you know,
yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I'm just trying to buy my groceries and do my life here. There's a real difference versus me paying to.
And you won't ever see that from me. You won't ever see that from me.
But for context, or you know, you see a lot of this at airports. You see, I mean, I think, you know, God, you see so many.
Yes, at the airports and stuff.
Yeah.
Let me explain that too. Like you know, like at WrestleCon, like we're flying and everybody knows you're at the airport, you're landing at a certain time. Not specifically me, but they're like, let's go. Like the autograph hunters, right? They're like, I want to go to the airport to get my free autograph, my picture signed or my action figure signed. And when we say no, they get pissed off. They're like, well, hey, I'm a fan of yours. The reason why we cannot do it, I'm getting paid, like, you know, like WrestleCon, okay? They're paying me to be I need them to make their money back on their flight and my hotel room and the table, or at Comic-Con, you know, it's like $500 a table. And I want the con to make money going, oh my gosh, she brought us in so much money. I'm going to bring her back. And if we're doing all those free autographs at the airport, I think people forget. They're like, oh, she didn't even sign my stuff. We are not allowed to. It's part of, like, my contract is like, if you're doing my convention, you can't go to a comic book store and do an extra convention. I'm here. I need to make money off of you, you know, more so than what we're getting paid. And I think fans forget that. They're like, because it happens to me a lot. It's like, I go, I can't sign it. I go, dude, I got to make this guy money that brought me in, dude. I go, I want him to book me again next year. I want to come back, you know? So yeah, but you're on and it's always like an apology a little bit. I hope, you know, like that kind of thing, you know?
I think it's just being, for me, it's just being respectful of people's time and being respectful of the fact that, you know, it's a two-way relationship. I think the thing that I see a lot on social media is professional autograph hunters now going to wrestlers at airports with like sheets of Funko Pops. Like, can you just sign this? Can you just sign this? And then occasionally, I'm a really big fan. Just, if you're a fan,
and I don't mind, like, I do notice this too. Like, people, like, they're like, well, let me personalize it to you. When I do my whatnot, and I'm like, do you want me to personalize it or not personalize it? And they're like, well, I'm not going to sell it. I go, I don't care what you do with this because it's out of my hands. You bought this. If you want to sell it, you go sell it. I don't care. I'm not offended, honestly, you know, at all. If like if they're going to make money off my signature, I already made money off the first 6, you know, but the free ones, like, you know, or when they come with the label, can you just sign your signature on this really big on the paper? And I remember doing that a couple times. And my friend goes, you know what they do with that? They superimpose that on trading cards. And I go, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I was learning from everybody else, you know. I was like, oh, I just thought they wanted a big signature. I don't know. You know what I mean? But yeah, and like, I think a lot of people, David told me, he goes, I think we were watching some movie. He goes, oh, I met him in LA at a restaurant. And I go, who? And he goes, that character. I'm really bad at actors' names and stuff like that. And he goes, I went to his table when he was eating and I asked for his autograph. And he goes, I don't do my autographs with my family. And he told me, he goes, it pissed me off. I wasn't a fan of his anymore. And I go, but he's eating. I go, you can't. I mean, some people are germaphobes, especially during this COVID time. This was prior when he was younger. he said he was in his 20s. I go, oh, you should have known in your 20s not to interrupt someone's family time at dinner. But he, they don't want to grab a pen. I've had this happen. So hey, interrupt my meal. And they took the Sharpie out of their mouth. Okay, here, can you sign this? I go, you just had that in your mouth. I'm like, really? Like, I don't want to get a cold. Not like you have a disease or anything, but there's time and places to interrupt. And it's there, I think people forget, that we're human and we're like going, I just want to sit with my family and go, hey, what do we want to do after this? Let's go to the mall or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I love the fact that you're so open and authentic about who you are, Lisa. And I think it's great that you are giving fans so many opportunities to kind of interact with you and have these moments. I could ask you 1,001 questions, but I'm going to be respectful.
I really answered it because I don't shut up, Ben.
No, I'm going to be respectful of your time. I'm going to issue you an invite now. I'd love to do a part 2 of you at some point because I've got a whole load of questions I want to ask you about WWE and TNA, but we haven't got onto today. But look, before we wrap up, I want to say, thank you for coming on, but also, can you just quickly plug away your various, I know you are you're a hustler, some of your platforms, Lisa. Where can people follow you and interact with you?
Yeah, every day I'm hustling. That should have been my theme song. But, oh my gosh, I'm on social media, Real Lisa Marie. I'm on Twitch now, twitch.tv/Real Lisa Marie. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. I do have a LinkedIn. It's under my IG, under the bio. I didn't know how to put it in there. My friend Danny, big shout out to Danny. I'm on social. I'm not here to plug anything. I have my store. You know where to find me if you're a fan of mine. But I'm excited. I'm excited actually for my Twitch. I'll be honest with you, to do watch alongs. I never done that before, and to read the chat and they're like, oh, what was it like? They get to see my real reaction watching my match, and it makes me cringe. I don't like watching myself. Oh, it's torture for me. But yeah, I'm not here to plug anything. Follow Ben, follow Wrestling Life online. Thank you guys just for respect and being such a Widow's Peak freak. And I just appreciate people wanting to interview me still.
Thank you. Well, look, thanks so much for your time. I love this. And I look forward to part 2, part 3, part 4. There's so much to talk about, isn't there?
I know, Ben. I know. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Don't forget, you guys, like, subscribe, click that bell icon. Do it.
Do it, the lady says. Well, look, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you to Jeff Easton from Tall Lake Productions for bringing Wrestling Life to life. Thank you, Lisa, for being with me today. And we'll be back soon with more real talk from real talent. Until then, be good to each other. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.